Do you know that the company Facebook, the company Uber, made their first quarter of profit the first time in about a year ago or 2 years ago? But for 13 years, there was somebody cutting checks for these companies to keep working, keep improving until they become profitable. Good evening, everybody. It's a great plumping pleasure to be with you again this evening. And it's very important for each and every one of us to understand the urgency of now. It's very important for each and every one of you to understand that you are at the cusp of history, at a turning point when it is going to be determined whether you lived on the side of eternity or not. I want to say this. In life generally, you will often be kept from your purpose, not by the obstacles on the way, but by a clear path to the easier goal. I want that to sink in. You will a lot of times be kept away from your purpose, not by the obstacles on your path, but by a clear path to a lesser goal. You know, I just want to give you some statistics here as a conglomeration of black people in America. The black economy in America is a $1.7 trillion economy. By numbers, by GDP standards, that's the 11th largest economy in the world, bigger than Mexico, Spain, and South Korea. Now, I want you to also understand something about the times we live and why I really believe that what you people are trying to do, putting together a federal credit union, is most likely going to be one of the most important legacies that the African community has left in America. You know why? Because the power of the country we live in today is not only based on your intellect, it's not only based on your heart, but it's also based on how much financial control you have, how much financial influence you have. Listen, over the last 3 days, I started yesterday, I've been attending a conference over the last 3 days, 8 in the morning till 6 p.m. in the evening. Yesterday, today I just got in, and tomorrow I'm going to be there. I spent $4,000 for that conference, not to try to share some numbers, but to give you the sense of why financial power matters, why what you are doing is very critical. Do you know that the company Facebook, do you know that the company Uber made their first quarter of profit the first time in about a year ago or 2 years ago? But for 13 years, there was somebody cutting checks for these companies to keep working, keep improving until they become profitable. I know a lot of times people ask themselves, but why is it that all the big companies, why is it that all the big inventions are usually led by people of other communities and people of other races? You know why? It's not too much about the smarts. We all go to the same schools, Harvard, Texas Tech, all these colleges. It's not too much about some natural endowments. We all have special gifts that God has given us from time immemorial. One of the key things why other communities are successful at making significant changes and waving the destiny of their communities is that they are able to provide financing for ideas and projects. I share this to let you understand that creating the federal union you are working on right now is going to not only be a legacy, but it's going to be something that their children's children will benefit from that grace. You see, in the Jewish community, there is a very popular practice in the Jewish community, and that practice is termed in a word called Fargin. Fargin is Yiddish. What does Fargin mean? Fargin means that in the Jewish community, once a Jew has a business, the community makes it a point to support and work with that business. But that is not even the most important thing. Even when the service of that business, even when the delivery is not perfect yet, by the Yiddish tradition of Fargin, the Jews are committed to keep working with that community member until they perfect their service, until they become good at what they are doing, until they are able to deliver 100% of excellence, until they are able to become successful. Why do I say this? I bring this concept to explain to each and every one of you why the successful are successful and why those who fail, fail. They are not successful because they are gifted any differently. They are successful because they're consistent. They have people who back them financially, and they make sure that they keep working and promoting their businesses until it becomes excellent in whatever it is they are doing. For a federal credit union like this, for the fact that you've already gone ahead and even gotten to the point where you are with your charter and with the different things you try to do, it is incredible. You all should be proud of yourself. You all should feel a sense of warmth in your heart. Each and every one of you on this call tonight at 8 p.m. in the night, on a Saturday night, in a beautiful fall day, not too hot, not too cold, just right to be out there on a cold bottle of beer and enjoying the breeze of life, but you decide to be on this call, to find a way to make sure that all the Ubers, which are in the spirit of some of the young people in this community, all the great Walmarts, all the great Facebooks, all the different companies and dreams that people have, there will be a financial institution someday soon that can back their dreams until their dreams become something significant. Let me explain to you. About 25 years ago, the biggest company, do you know the biggest company in America by a market capitalization? About 25 years ago, it was GE, General Electric. But over the last 10 years, the top 7 companies by market capitalization over the last 10 years has been technology companies. I just give this as an example because all of those companies had people and financial institutions like the JP Morgan Chase, like all those different institutions that have been cutting checks for them for 10, 12, 15 years before they become successful. The only way they could do this is because centuries ago, some of these Jewish people understood the power of bringing their resources together and starting with something called a mutual fund, which is today has evolved into things like credit unions and things like that. There is still mutual fund as a vehicle for investment on the stock market, but that concept is what has evolved today into credit unions and all these financial institutions, investment banks that are backing the biggest projects in the world. So the reason I share all these stories with you is not to impress you. No, that's not my goal. I share these stories to let you understand that you might be seeing this project from the perspective of your limitation, but I want you to see it from the possibility of your great propensity. I need you to understand that whatever it is you're doing for this organization, whatever it is you're bringing to the table, go out and duplicate that effort. Because with that effort, the rewards are going to be outstanding. The rewards are not only going to be in financial benefits, but it's going to also be in legacy changing actions. It's going to also be in the ability of having a name written down in history. Hey guys, have you been wondering how you could chat with me one-on-one just to talk on your aspirations, your career, your business, and the things you might dream about with your life and you would really like to do with your life? I know it's been a challenge because a lot of people have been sending me inbox messages, asking me questions and asking me how they could get to me. That has been answered for you. I've created a one-on-one program where you can actually book a time. You look in the link in the description. You can book a time and have a one-on-one conversation with me for 30 minutes for a very small fee. If you look down in the description of this video, you will find that information and go ahead and book a time and let's have a conversation. I sat back today and I was thinking to myself just before I jumped on the call. I said, oh my God, so there's going to be a day I walk into a credit union here in Austin and I see the names of familiar people I know on the wall as founders. Wouldn't that be amazing? Is there anything that can replace that kind of mark on the sands of time? Is there any volume of money and time spent working or whatever it is that can replace that level of legacy? Now I want to challenge each and every one of you. You're sitting here, about 18 of you today on this call. I know that there are more people out there who need education about what is going on with this Federal Credit Union. There are more people who need to be informed and educated about what the possibility lies ahead. Take it as a challenge upon yourself. Each of you go out and get just 5 people. You bring in 5 people as members. 18 people times 5, we're talking about 50. 8 times 5 is what? 8 times 4, 32. That's 40. That's 90 people. You know what? That is more than enough to get it going on the ground. I listened to Chairman Weber explain a few things, share the spreadsheet here. I was listening. I saw some of the numbers and I laughed. I said, that's the beginning of something significant. And if you don't believe in this dream, I want you to believe. And if you already believe, I want you to duplicate your belief. I want you to believe bigger than you could ever imagine that it can work. You know why? Because my mentor Les Brown say what? Shoot for the moon. If you miss the moon, at least you're going to fall on the stars. I want you to understand, and I want to encourage each and every one of you to realize that you are part of a select group. It's a destiny appointed time for you to be involved with a project like this. Each time Chairman Weber has reached out to me to come and speak to you, I never hesitate. And just for the record, I don't get compensated for this. Usually for 30-minute speeches like this, I get compensated upwards of $3,000. But there's a reason why I'm speaking today with so much passion and love, because this is about me. This is about my children. This is about our name. This is about my destiny. This is about my excellence. This is about the legacy. This is about a tree that you're planting that you will not sit under, but future generations are going to enjoy the shade. I imagine to myself today, if the Wright brothers, who founded the airplane, for example, took their first test flight and it failed, they abandoned. I don't know how we would be flying from Cameroon to America. But they took their first flight. It got for a few meters. They dropped. They did it again and did it again and did it again. And today we are talking about them hundreds of years after. That's the mindset we have to understand how these things work. That's how we have to come against and for the dreams and desires and passions that we have in this land of great opportunity. I know for a fact there is no better country than America to dream of a dream like this and actually go ahead to try to execute it. There is no question about the involvement and the explosion of credit unions around America. It's not by mistake. I'm a fervent believer in the credit union. I bank at the Austin Telco Credit Union. That's where most of my financial transactions happen. I have an account in Wells Fargo that is just for international wires and things like that. I believe in credit unions because they provide something that other big financial institutions do not. Number one, they provide personalized service. Number two, they know names of all their members. You walk in, they say, Mr. Achu, welcome. I'm glad to see you. I walk to Wells Fargo, nobody cares. I'm just a number, for God's sake. I walk into a federal credit union and I talk to my account manager. I say, I need a loan. She says, well, we've done the math. It's not. But I say, please, I really need it. She says, let me talk to the manager. We might find a way to make it work. In Wells Fargo, they don't know me. They have 2,000 branches. There's no way they can shift their laws for me. I'm just giving you an example. I'm not saying that's what happens. But I'm saying that these are businesses that are flexible enough to accommodate their members. They're flexible enough to do great things, to provide financing for people who need it, and to provide financing for people who even traditional financial institutions might reject them because their credit score might not be high enough because of all those different things. But these are people who are going to change destinies. If you truly believe, if you truly believe deep in your heart that this dream is possible, then multiply your efforts. Then go out there and behave like the African chimpanzee. The African chimpanzee usually goes out as a protectorate. And as it works together with its family, what it does is that it is ready to take the bullet for everybody. But at the same time, the reason why it is ready to do that is because it wants to expand a horizon for its people to have better air, to have better flexibility in the forest, to live in a spacious area. Now, I want each and every one of you to understand that just like the bamboo tree I talk about all the time, you plant a seed, just like an apple too. In that apple is a seed. In each of those seeds is an apple tree. And in each of those apple trees are apples. And each of those apples contains seeds. And those seeds contain trees. That's how you have to think about this particular project. Because in each of you lies the words, the conviction, the ability, the grace to bring multiple people, and each of those people can bring in new seeds, and in each of those seeds are different people, and in each of those people, that's how the duplication works. And that's how by the time you know it, in 15 years you have 10 branches in Texas. In 100 years we are talking about a national federal credit union in America, in Cameroon, in Ghana, everywhere in the world. We must dream big. We must think about ourselves beyond our present environment. We must think about ourselves beyond the perceived limitations of what we are able to do. If a moth thought about itself only as a moth, it will never transform into a butterfly. Chairman Weber, members of this very, very lofty goal and Federal Credit Union, I want to leave you with this. There's a Chinese saying that says, when you think, you act. When you act, you fail. When you fail, you learn. When you learn, you duplicate your efforts. And when you duplicate your efforts, you repeat the process. And when you repeat the process, you duplicate the outcomes. I know for a fact that whatever it is that you are building on this project, there is no question in my mind that you stick on the plan. You believe in yourself. You believe in each other. In a few years to come, your names will be written on the sands of time. Because every human being usually has one regret at the end of their life. It's never about money they missed. It's never about big homes they might have lost. It's never about jobs. It's never about all those opportunities. It's usually about what it is that they were capable to do if they had stretched themselves a little bit more, but lack of courage precluded them from doing that. So I want to encourage you, stretch yourselves, push yourselves to the limit, work on this project to bring it to fruition. Make the continent proud, make your people proud, and of course, make America proud of the fact that you came, you saw, and you conquered. God bless you all.